state of Alabama. And
Good morning, wherever you are. My name is Mike Amos. I'm live from our studios in Troy, Alabama, on South Frontage Street, and it's time for our show, the Today in LA show. That's Lower Alabama. Right next door to me, we got one of the greats of all time, Bill Rice Jr. in his own mind, and then of course Forrest Lee to our far left. So we're ready to go this morning. Steve Kemp is in the box, and it's time to go.
Well, let's get our game face on.
And it doesn't matter how we start the show. It doesn't matter anything other than whether or not we sit around and talk and shoot the breeze and let you know what's going on in Pike County, Alabama. And
that was like you were the quarterback in the huddle, and then you called the play, and then said, ready, set, hark. And then here we go.
Yeah.
Today you can get your last day at the circus. The circus is located at the Pike County Cattlemen's Park on 4100 U.S. Highway 231. Today there's a 4:30 show and a 7:30 show at the Cattlemen's Complex in Troy. This is a free ticket, child's ticket, 12 ages and under. You get it with a paid adult ticket. And I'm not sure how much those are, but the circus
I always said that if you give the tickets away to the kids, somebody's got to bring them. That's the way I've always looked at it.
Don't you think that the Troy Appreciation Day Parade, the key to it was having lots of units with kids in them?
Yes. That's right.
That was by design, maybe?
Well, at football games, have cheerleaders, your Pee Wee football players recognized.
Mm-hmm.
All your bands, local bands, the little bands. Any organization you could think of, give them a free ticket, the kids, and
exactly right.
or let them perform something at halftime, a singing group or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, this weekend we're getting ready for Easter. The Easter bunny's coming, and of course, it's one of the great days in our lives, or the greatest day in our lives, when Jesus was resurrected on Easter Day. Of course, we're waiting for Mike Amos to call in from
Great
Beach, Florida, and he says everybody is going strong down there. Hopefully, a lot of these folks are getting their shots. And Rice, what do you? How do we look on the shots?
More and more Americans are getting them. They're, I think by end of May, pretty much every adult will have one. The nation of Israel is about fully vaccinated right now. The people in Israel, but
that is great. What is their percentages?
About 3 weeks ago, it was 55% of the nation had both shots. That's called fully vaccinated. Plus, you got to get both shots, and then you got to wait 7 or 10 days for it to kick in.
I'm getting mine today at 12:30 at Dalton's Pharmacy.
That is great.
The Johnson & Johnson one-time shot.
At what pharmacy?
Dalton's. It's located at the Sarah doctor's office on the Elba Highway.
Yeah.
Is a pharmacy there. When you
sure.
walk in, it's to the far right.
Another good thing about this, this is you only have to take one shot. Is that
no.
Right? Now, does that cover it all, or what do you think?
Well, I guess until it expires when I have
Right,
to
how
go
does that
again.
work? Does it go 95% or what?
No, they say the Johnson & Johnson's about 85 or 86% effective. They say when they say effective, that vaccine's not necessarily going to keep you from getting the virus. That's a misperception. It's going to prevent a severe case or death, which is really what you care about. You don't want to die, and you don't want to go to the hospital. And the vaccine is 95% effective at doing that, according to the government and the CDC.
Well, I hate to be rude this morning, but Forrest dropped by the bakery this morning, and boy, these donuts holes are great. You know, it's called Trojan
Donuts.
Trojan donuts, and I'm telling you, they're as good a donuts as you're gonna find anywhere, and they're delicious.
They open
Now,
up at 5
one more
o'clock.
COVID point, Mike, since you asked. I always check the daily tracker on the Alabama Reporter, the COVID tracker. That they have the daily cases from the Alabama Department of Public Health. Yesterday's number was 228 cases, which, to give you some contrast, on January 12th, the number of daily cases in Alabama was 5,400. 228 cases. You got to go back almost to April 2020, almost a year ago, to see that low a number of cases. That's
Isn't
the
that
lowest.
amazing?
That's the lowest I've seen.
You know, the head coach at Baylor, you know, they lost a heartbreaker to, it was the coach at Baylor, you know, they lost
This
a
is
heartbreaker
women.
to
This is
UConn.
women. Yeah.
Yeah, she said that after they get to the Final Four, the men and the women, she wished that they would not test them for COVID because she doesn't want them to miss playing in the national championship. You know, they've tested negative all this time,
Yeah, that would be something.
so that's a
Well,
kind
who we
of
got
controversial.
on, Rice?
Hello, is this
Morning.
What,
Hey,
how
Michael.
do you greet them in German? Is that right?
Guten Morgen.
Buenos dias, amigos.
How you doing, son?
Salute.
Pretty good. How are y'all?
What's the outlook for the week? Let me just say this: a guy on radio told me that this morning.
Pretty down here.
Well, let me tell you this: a guy told me on radio this morning that we were going to have frost Friday morning.
I told Carrie last night, y'all commented about, I guess it was Michael that told us that one day the high was going to be 82 and the low was going to be 39.
It's probably today.
And so that's a 43-degree difference in one day. I said that has to be a record
Yeah.
in temperature discrepancy in one day. So we need, if that happens, we need to see if that is a record.
Yeah, that's
Y'all
right.
look any different?
Yeah, that looks good. Look good.
You look pretty clean cut, son. What is that? You dyed your hair or what?
No. Shaved my beard.
Are you still on your weight loss program?
Yeah, I'm still. I got a bet going with the great John Grady Reeves right now. So yeah, I'm winning as we speak.
You had a head start though, didn't you?
I did go to Braga last night in Graydon Beach with my owner and a couple buddies of mine, and we had way too much fun. So I had a late night last night.
Well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, son.
Did you ever watch the TV show Mad Men?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Top 5 favorite shows of all time.
Well, Carrie and I are binge watching it. We missed it when it came out, but now we're watching it.
Is it back on?
No, but you can. We're watching on one of
Yeah.
these services, and we're on about episode 4, season 3. We watch about 3 or 4 a night. But you talk about celebrating and drinking and
Oh
smoking.
yeah, the smoking.
They never stop.
And it almost
Great,
made me
The
sick.
great Don Draper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
y'all
was
liked it too. Good.
Yeah, but
The lo-
Yeah, you know, Dad and I used to watch that together a lot.
it
I
sure
like
did. Yeah.
I got your answer to temperature differential.
All right, here we
The
go.
largest recorded temperature change in one place in a 24-hour period was January the 15th, 1972, in Luma, Montana. The temperature rose from minus 54 to 49,
Oh.
So
the
49
most
is
dramatic change in North American climates.
really-
That's 103-degree change in 24 hours. What about Alabama, though?
I have to find that out.
I bet
Mike.
it's about 45 degrees, 50 degrees.
Mike, your Crimson Tide did not show up this week, did they?
Well, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, they couldn't shoot in Hinkle Fieldhouse, and then
Couldn't hit free throws.
Herb Jones, I read, was 0 for his last 20 on 3-pointers, and he attempted 4 more.
Oh, for
in
his
that game.
last
He had
what?
No business ever shooting a 3, and then Shackelford just disappeared for Alabama. You're talking about the leading scorer on the team. I think he scored 4 points. Definitely, still upset they lost the game. But I feel like good basketball too.
I think it was a fluke. I mean, Alabama hit 11 of 25 free throws, which is 41%. As my little brother Bobby told me, they're 71% shooting free throw team for the year. They would have just hit 55%. You know, they would have won the game in regulation.
Today is Be Kind to Bobby Rice Day on our show. And, of course, Bobby Rice, the blood brother of the guy sitting right next to me, Bill Rice Jr. And Bobby Rice, wherever you are this morning, friend, hey, it's Be Kind to you.
Well, that's nice to be kind to Bobby Rice.
And, of course, he's the new editor of the Troy Messenger, and we're proud to have him. And I see a huge difference, especially in the way the Messenger looks.
He's working really hard, and he's got some good people over there. And so if you see something you don't like, or call him, and if you see something that you want to improve, I bet they'll try to improve it. I'm working on the story right now. They're doing a profile edition, and my assignment is to do a story on all the neat, great things that are happening at the hospital.
Oh, great, yeah.
So I interviewed Rick and
how'd you
Cheryl.
like Rick? Isn't he a great guy?
Oh, yeah, great. And talked to Cheryl Crow, who's been on the board for 36 years.
Of course, he's one of my dear friends. He's one of my idols that I grew up rooting for.
They say the hospital is okay. And there's a lot of hospitals in Alabama. The quote they gave me are on the bubble.
That's right.
Of surviving, as many as 20. You can believe that. But they say Troy's hospital is nowhere near being on that bubble.
That's a great thing.
But you think of a community without a good hospital, that's almost impossible.
Of course, Alabama Spring.
I mean, having a college town, I feel like you would almost have to have some kind of hospital, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, with 7,000, 7,500 on-campus students.
I wonder how the infirmary does at Troy University. You know, how many students do they see on average a day?
If you didn't have a hospital, they would have to create one themselves.
I know Dr. DeSher is one of their doctors. I mean, and I think, you know, he has a...
And they used to have beds down there that you...
Yeah.
You'd go...
Well, let me tell you, when I was in college, I actually worked for the infirmary. And it was my duty to take a tray of breakfast to the pretty girl who was in room 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. It wasn't bad duty. It was not bad duty. And that's what I did for about 2 years there. Wow. Every morning I get.
You were an orderly.
I took.
This is the first time I've ever heard this story.
That's right. Well, I took trays of food to the girls.
Where was the food created there, or
it was in the bottom of Hamill Hall?
Hamill Hall. I can remember.
They made the food there.
Yeah, and they made sure I didn't go up the stairs, because if I went up the stairs, I was on the girls' dorm, in the girls' dorm, and the girls wanted me to come up there, but I just told them, I said, no, I got to attend to my rules.
Is Hamill Hall and Gardner Hall going to be leveled?
Why? Have you heard that?
Yes.
And Lee Natatorium?
Who?
Lee Natatorium.
Ah, Lee, yeah.
That ought to be happening.
Where will that water go?
And boy, that was that's a nice facility, and you know, Troy
Lee Natatorium is not a nice facility.
But let's just say this though: Troy University needs a full Olympic-sized pool.
I think they do.
Yeah, if you want to walk back into the 70s, go to that natatorium.
I've been there. I've jumped in that big diving board before.
You know, Steve Flowers, our good friend.
Scuba diving class there.
Oh, it's
Dr.
historic.
Jeffries.
Yep. Everybody that's taken a scuba diving class or probably a lifeguard class.
His nickname was Tank.
Our good friend Steve Flowers.
Who was the blonde-haired guy with the glasses that worked there?
Bill Gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a fraternity brother of mine.
Yeah. He ran it for a long time.
Yeah, I haven't thought of Bill in a while. He was
Mike wanted to get out of the program where they told him to go down to the bottom and sit down.
Yeah, Bill.
That is a pretty...
they also wanted you to go dive out in the Gulf of Mexico, too, and I didn't want to do that either.
When you got down there, did you take your air off? I mean, did you pull the plug on yourself or what?
Yeah, you had to, and then you had to give it to the person next to you. It was
And you're sitting in the bottom of the pool, you know.
But you did all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill owns and
I
operates
tried to do
marinas
all of
in
it, but he
Texas.
gave me an A.
What's he
regardless.
operate?
He was very nice to me.
Marinas.
Yeah, hey, he graduated me. I think he had to have an A to graduate, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
But
I think everybody felt sorry for me by then. I didn't come back and finish college until 2002.
when they would come in every afternoon and say, "When are we gonna get rid of him?" Hey, listen, this is a good chance to get rid of that guy. But it was some great times. Especially when they had that Olympic sign.
They had the sauna.
diving
Yeah.
facility.
Yeah.
You remember that?
They do. They had the sauna. Remember the sauna?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't remember
Oh
the
yeah.
sauna.
The sauna. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
they did.
I remember it because in 7th and 8th grade PE, you had all these units, which you know well about
Exactly.
Coach Lee.
Yeah.
And one of them every
Farley.
year was swimming, and the swimming people, we bust over to the natatorium. And so you swam, but also that was the first time that, you kind of saw your 7th and 8th grade girlfriends in swimsuits. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah. It was.
And they had Troy University instructors there to help teach you how to swim. They had canoeing
We used to
at the
we used
lagoon.
to like to go there
Yeah.
because Coach Turk's wife was the lifeguard, Diane Warren. She was while the young kids wanted to go over there.
Yeah.
Really? Coach Turk's wife?
Yeah, she was the
Danielle.
lifeguard.
Danielle
Turk,
Yeah.
Yeah, Danielle was the lifeguard.
Yeah. Want to mention before to go back to our COVID report. How do we look?
Well, they say that there's cases are rising allegedly in half the states in the country because of these variants. I've done some research, and I think some of these rises might be that they're adding backlogged old cases, from months ago. But then in Alabama, the cases and hospitalizations and deaths continue to plunge big time, man. So it looks really, really good. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, no doubt about it. I just think the worst is far, far behind us. So if everybody just be careful and patient a little more.
How about these kids coming off of spring break now?
They're going to be fine. I mean, every time you have a national championship celebration or a beach scene, they say there are going to be huge outbreaks, and there never are. Well, let's think about it. The college kids, even if they get the virus, they're going to be asymptomatic probably, so they're not even going to know it. So they're not even going to go get tested. So even if they had the virus, they're not even going to know about it.
What if you're a college senior and you're obese?
They're probably okay.
Well, you got pollen too in the air, so people are
That's right.
sniffling and sneezing because
But
of that.
if the only thing that would be different is if there were a lot of 60, 65, 70, 75-year-old people that were interacting with the college students. But I just don't think that's the case. I think the 75-year-olds are far.
Yes,
They're not
no.
6 feet from the college students. They're miles from the college students. But we shall see. But then another point is there's not as many college students on spring break as in the past because a lot of colleges, i.e. Alabama and Auburn, did not even have a spring break this year.
That's what I've heard.
So,
Same thing.
but you bring up a point that people are concerned about, but I say it won't be anything big.
Now, you're talking about an article on the doctors, the hospital. Today is National Walk in the Park Day, National Doctors Day,
Good.
and
That's
National
great.
Pencil Day. I did have a pencil in the truck, but I got peeled, so.
You know what Rick told me, the CEO at the hospital, and Cheryl Crow, that there's a perception that the doctors in other towns are better because they're in bigger cities, bigger hospitals. He said, no, these doctors went to the same med schools, had the same credentials, had the same residencies and internships. The only difference is they want to work in a small town, in a smaller hospital, and they have reasons for wanting to do that.
Well, a lot of people say this. Dr.
reasons.
Dr. LaLiberty, how do you pronounce
Dave
it?
LaLiberty.
Not Dave LaLiberty.
Gene
Dr.
Lovenberger.
Lugenberg.
Lugenberger, our good friend from who's played football at Tulane, starting defensive halfback back in his college days. There are people telling me he's one of the best hip doctors in the country.
And is he the one that there's one doctor on staff that was it 13 years at the Mayo Clinic? Listen, folks. I mean, they don't
just let you do that.
They don't get any better than that for them. But I was told that these doctors, some of them, they just simply want to live in a small rural town, and I get that. And more people need to know that we have. If they don't have every service at Troy Regional, but the ones they have, they think are really good, and if they don't have it, they can get you to someone who does in a hurry.
Yeah, and something else I heard was right now we do not have a COVID-19 patient in the hospital.
Somebody said
right?
that the other day.
You hadn't heard of a spike in COVID at Troy University? They've been back for, a couple of days now?
That's right, yeah.
I've been
more
trying.
than a week.
Sometimes it's not fun being a reporter. I try to get answers to what I think are fair questions, and one of them I've been trying to get is to find out from the athletic departments of all these people who tested positive, what percentage were asymptomatic that never got sick. And another question I'm asking is how many students had to go to the hospital that got really sick because of COVID? Because I'm trying to determine how serious COVID is to college students, not old people. We know that. And nobody will answer my questions. I mean, did anybody go to the hospital?
They're about to do a study where they're going to have 12,000 college students that have had the vaccine, and then they're going to find out of all those college students, they're supposed to do tests daily and find out how many of those end up being asymptomatic and how many of those could possibly, spread the virus. I was hearing Fauci say that yesterday. So they're trying to start doing studies on people that have already had the vaccine, if they're still contagious.
Well, that's a big question. Most people assume that if you get the vaccine, you're not contagious, but no, that's not true. Otherwise, they would be telling people you don't need the mask, right, or you don't need the social distance. But what are they telling people that have had the vaccine? Still wear the mask, still social distance. That, i.e., they're saying you are still contagious.
I think anytime somebody's going right now out to their drugstores or their post offices or their food stores and so forth, should be wearing a mask. And if somebody's not wearing a mask, you say, "Oh, pardon me, you need to be wearing your mask."
It ends next week.
Does it?
The mask order does in Alabama.
But I still think I recommend. I know this. I'm gonna continue to wear the mask.
A lot of people will, yeah.
And it's not hard to do. It's so simple to do, and it could save somebody's life.
Alabama's new salaries for their coaching staff. Last year, Alabama paid their assistants $8.85 million. This year, they're only going to pay their assistants $7,825,000. Bill O'Brien, the new offensive coordinator, is going to make $1.1 million. Pete Golden, the defense coordinator, is going to make $1.5 million.
Who's this guy? Who's this defensive coordinator?
Pete Golden. He's the guy with the beard.
Never heard of him.
Well, he had it. He was there last year.
Been there for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He's real ugly. Any real ugly?
Doug Marrone is the offensive line coach. He took over for Flood. He's going to make $755,000. Holman Wiggins, wide receivers coach, is going to make $575,000.
No, that's the lowest.
Robert Gillespie, the new running back coach, is going to make $535,000. Freddie Roach, the former linebacker, is going to make $720,000 a year as a defensive line coach. Sal Sinceri is going to make $700,000. Charles Kelly out of Ozark is going to make $825,000.
Oh boy, bless your heart, Charles.
And the new defensive back coach, Balai, out of Texas, is going to make $525,000. They're still going to try to find a tight end special teams coach.
I want to be it. I'll do it for $300,000.
The lowest paid coach that you called out was $550,000.
Yeah, Michael, I got some news on that. Special teams coordinator says that Memphis special teams coordinator Drew Swoboda is on the verge of being named as the special teams coordinator.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill, Will Matthews. What's up?
Hey, good morning, Will. What's
Good.
going on in Ozark?
Good morning, Will Matthews, and good morning, Ozark, Alabama.
I got to ask Will a question. Are you friends with Nick Faldo on Facebook? I saw that you were commenting, and then his wife, I guess, was commenting back to you? Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. You don't know Nick Faldo, Will? No way, Will.
In 1973, I beat Nick Faldo in the Orange Bowl Junior Tournament in Miami, Florida.
When are you going to be on Faraday? I
beat him.
think Faraday
You know
needs
what? Nick went to Houston, but he only lasted about 6 months.
And then we went back to England?
Yeah, he went back to England and turned pro.
I never knew that. That's good trivia. And he lives in Orlando, doesn't he?
Well, how did you know how to get in touch with Nick by phone?
No, Facebook.
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 And what did she say? Well,
You know, he's got a home at the Greenbrier, too. He's got
Now,
several homes
he and Bob Jones are very good friends.
Bob Jones, one of your best friends.
Yeah.
And did he marry an American girl or what?
He's got him a German one now, and she's beautiful.
Oh, really? He's not
He's
married?
about his third wife.
Oh, is it? And is he a pretty good fella?
He's different. But
Third
he's all
wife.
right, you know.
Yeah, he's
I saw you posted a picture of your first hole in one when you were 17 or something yesterday.
Yeah, they have the paper here does stuff like 45 years ago or 50 years ago, stuff like that all the time. And it was in the paper.
And
yeah, I think the Messenger might start doing that. We had a little brainstorming session, and I said, let's say 40 years ago, 30 years ago, what happened, and just
That's right, yeah.
open up the paper and see what the news was on this date. You know.
Yeah, you can pull out the famous Amos twins. We had a picture in the Messenger when we were real little.
Yeah, that's right. Little girl
they
that.
do that every week in Ozark. Southern Star.
Yeah.
We used to do it at the Montgomery Independent. Same thing. Just
You know, Troy paper is one of the very few daily papers in the country. The rest of these daily papers are closing down.
but the Messenger only comes out. It's no longer. Well, it was really only 5 days a week, but it's down to 2 days a week.
You mean it's only 2 days a week now?
Yep. Let's think about you got the. I'm going to try to name the daily papers off the top of my head. You got the Dothan Eagle, the Montgomery Advertiser, the Tuscaloosa News, Opelika Auburn News.
Birmingham.
No, Birmingham's
Doesn't have one?
Birmingham
Yeah,
News.
Huntsville probably had one, don't they?
No,
Mobile.
they're all 3 days a week.
Birmingham's like 4 or 5 days a week.
What
They're
about
all owned by AL.com, and they are all 3 days a week and awful.
Mobile too.
Mobile, Press Register, Huntsville Times, and Birmingham News are all were all AL.com, and they pretty much defunct.
Well, Will, what's your plan for Easter, man?
Well, I'm going to Mobile. My daughter's moved to Mobile, and I'm going to see her.
The one that was living in Biloxi?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. She's a beautiful girl.
Gulfport. Now she's going to Mobile.
Thank goodness she looks like her mama.
And her husband's working for Tuberville.
Right. Her husband's the regional director for Tuberville for that part of the state.
Oh, boy.
Good.
And, of course, what do you think about Tuberville?
I love him. You knew that.
Wait a minute now. This is a guy that used to be the head football coach at Auburn that beat Alabama 6 straight times, and you say you love him?
Absolutely.
What kind of Alabama guy are you, Will?
He's the best thing ever happened to Alabama.
Wait a minute. You mean Tuberville, Tommy Tuberville, as I quote Will Matthews, is the best thing that's ever happened to Alabama?
Well, you make that point, Will. I bet he can do it.
Well, the folks in Ozark are going to be throwing mud on your front door in a few minutes.
Mike is very simple. He made it possible for Alabama to fire Mike Shula. And that led to Nick Saban. So, you know,
He did it. He did it in 2 sentences, ladies and gentlemen.
He's from Camden, Arkansas.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm saying this, that we're talking about a die-hard Alabama fan, you know.
Yeah.
Tommy's 66.
Yeah, he's in good shape.
Well, let me ask this.
Who's going to be the new senator when Shelby steps down?
I want you to write this name down.
All right.
Linda Davenport.
Okay.
Never heard of her.
Well, let me just say this. I've never heard of her.
All right, you've never heard of her, and she'll be the next U.S. Senator out of Alabama.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Where is she?
Tell us about her a little
Congress?
She's from Montgomery.
what's her gig?
She was the ambassador to Slovenia for Trump.
Oh, big. So you're talking about just because she was an ambassador to Slovenia, you think she can be this next state senator from Alabama?
U.S. Senator.
U.S. Senator.
Is she a real estate agent or a doctor or
Well, they own an apartment complex, so she and her
real
husband.
estate? Yeah.
Well,
You don't think Mo Brooks, the congressman, will win it?
Hell no.
is Mo running?
He'll probably
Mo
run.
Brooks is the most hated politician in Alabama.
Yeah.
All the usual suspects will run. Trust me.
Wait a minute now. He was at the baseball field and stood up for America when he was at the baseball field that time.
I'm gonna tell you why they're.
Oh, yeah.
That softball game, or it was a softball game,
Yeah,
yeah.
that could have been a massacre. That
And he stood in there like a man, Mo Brooks.
Here's why you run. You win. You probably just have one tough race. Look at Richard Shelby. How long has he been a U.S. Senator? Tell us, Will. Probably 40 years? Well, at least 30 years. He's been in Congress for 50 probably. So you get this job in the Senate, and you're on the government dole of all those perks for 30 more years. You got it made, man. I'm going to run.
Will this girl, excuse me now, I don't mean to be feminist or whatever you call it, but is this girl real pretty?
Absolutely.
Now I know the rest of the story.
She's 61 years old.
But she's pretty. That's good.
I'll tell you who's going to be the next president.
Mike, she's got 8 children.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great.
Must be a good
There's 8
Catholic.
votes right there.
And if I look down her lineage, she was probably related to you somehow, somewhere.
Nope.
Okay.
There must be some good candidates. I'll tell you who I'm pretty certain will be the Republican nominee for president. I don't know if he'll win. It'll be Governor DeSantis from Florida. Your governor will be the
I like
front
him.
runner.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
And if I tell you if he can't,
only problem is Rick Scott, the senator, wants to run for president too.
Yeah.
well, DeSantis is the man everybody's talking about and wants. And now if he doesn't win, shoot, I'm moving to pick a country. I'm moving to.
I thought Tucker Carlson was running for president.
Well,
Oh, is he really?
I might support Tucker. At least
Oh, gosh. Tucker's too far that way, man.
he challenges the narrative, which I admire. I don't always agree with him, but
Yeah,
at least he says things that nobody else is saying.
I hope he can stay safe, because a lot of folks said I could kill that guy.
Will there be a transition
But
of
that's
president?
just a funny thing.
It's
I'm
an
sorry.
expression. You don't mean it literally. That's like Trump got in trouble.
I don't mean, yeah.
I'm dead serious about this. I want you to write down Lindsay Davenport's name.
Lindsay Davenport.
And just put it up there somewhere on your desk.
Lindsay?
Lindsay
Well,
Davenport.
her nickname is Lindy. It's Linda Davenport.
Now, does she
Her
have
name
a
is
lot
Linda
of
Davenport.
family money that she can fund her own campaign?
They have made money. She
Okay.
and her husband.
Okay,
Right.
well, I mean, she can do it. I mean, but she's gonna have to have nobody knows her, so she's gonna have to spend
All right,
tons of
well,
money on media.
I'm
get
looking
people to know her.
into this now.
She's worth $100 million.
All right,
Okay, well, she can
where's
do it.
her hometown? Birmingham?
Montgomery.
Montgomery, and I've never heard of her. Will?
Well, you just not in the know.
I know it. Lindy Davenport. What was the Davenport, Mike? The third baseman for the Detroit Tigers not too long, several years ago that came out of Birmingham.
He's the one that has he has the pizza place in Mountain Brook.
Yeah, what's his name? Was Davenport, isn't it? Wasn't his name Davenport?
Yeah, but there's a pizza place in Mountain Brook.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was an old baseball player with Detroit Tigers.
Well, there'll be huge interest in this Senate race. When is the race, the election? Will you know? Is it 2 years? 4 years?
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I actually told you her married name is Blanchard.
What now?
It's Lindy Blanchard's what she's gonna run.
Okay, Doc Blanchard, one of the four horsemen. Yeah.
2022.
Blanchard.
Lindy Blanchard.
That's a nice name, Lindy Blanchard.
Will, are you impressed?
Oh, there she is.
Will, are you impressed with Alabama's
All right,
free throw shooting?
we're
against
coming up with a
Illinois?
picture. Let me see it up close and personal. Very pretty lady, yes, no question about it.
What do you think when you got Alabama? You know, these arenas. I feel like that's been a weird something a lot of people have talked about. They keep on switching where these teams play. So you know, Alabama shot lights out in the Indiana Pacers gym, and then they went back to Hinkle Fieldhouse and couldn't make a shot. I mean, it's just kind of weird how every game was at different places in the NCAA tournament. I mean, I don't understand why they had to have 6 different places to play basketball games in the bubble.
All of them now are going to be at the football arena. All of them now.
Yeah, the Indianapolis Colts, Lucas Arena. Well, now that Alabama's out of it, I could give a heck about it. That's the way these tournaments go, really.
Arkansas didn't have a chance against Baylor last night. Baylor's just too athletic.
Yeah.
Boy, they got some guards that can just fly.
That's going to be a great game. Did it come down to Gonzaga and Baylor or what?
I might watch the national championship game.
Who's in the Final Four now?
You got Houston, and then you've got Baylor, and then you got Gonzaga. What is they tonight?
Yeah, Gonzaga plays Southern Cal. Michigan plays UCLA.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now.
That's an amazing accomplishment for Houston. I don't think they've been in the Final Four since 1984.
Yeah.
Tell you what, they could shoot free. I mean, the 2 guys they sent up there were 90% free throw shooters.
You got to hit the free throws in the tournaments, as Alabama learned.
Oh, bless you.
Gonzaga's -8 tonight against USC, and then Michigan 6.5 against UCLA tonight.
Yeah.
I think Michigan will beat UCLA bad.
Yeah.
Baylor lost to Kentucky in 1948 in the national championship game. UCLA's 10-2 in the national championship games. Michigan is 1-6. Baylor, like I said, is 0-1. Houston is 0-2. They lost to North Carolina State 54-52 when Valvano won it in North Carolina State in 83 and 84. They lost to Georgetown. Houston, like I said, is 0-2. Gonzaga's 0-1. Gonzaga lost to North Carolina 71-65 in the national championship game in 2017. And Southern Cal has never played for a national championship in basketball.
That's right.
Yeah, and I know you wanted to mention this. Troy Athletics will hold a Sim Bird celebration of life on April the 10th. So anybody that wants to go celebrate the great Sim Bird, it'll be at Trojan Arena on Saturday, April the 10th at 9 a.m. So that'll be right before the
T-Day
game.
Number 12, Sim Bird.
Number 12 will live in our hearts forever. He was a great one. And of course, we lost another good one in Alvin Dees. Boy, what a great man and what a great player he was, too.
Mike, was Danny Grant on that team?
Danny Grant, yes, sir. Danny will be here for that funeral. Danny and Sam were very close friends, and they were great passing combination, too.
Did he wear 47?
He wore number, wait a minute.
20?
20.
20.
Wore number 20, and of course 20. He was a great receiver. He was no taller than 5'9" or 5'8", probably more or less.
His nephew
could catch a football in his hands. You never saw him catch it unless he caught it in his hands.
His nephew's the head soccer coach at Charles Simpson High School, Rick Vasquez. That's his nephew.
Are you serious? Is that right?
That's his nephew.
Well, I'm gonna have Danny on my show one day, and we'll go get this boy and take him to lunch.
Where is he living now, Mike?
Who?
Danny.
Danny lives in Panama City. Got a beautiful place down there. He's retired, and he lives in the Panama City area, and has a gorgeous home. And hey, just living the life of Riley.
Sounds like me.
I tell you, I grew up with Danny Grant. I played against him. I played against him in basketball. I played against him in baseball, and I played against him in football. Yes, I played all those sports at one time. But hey, I noticed that he was a catcher. That once he's set in his set position, most people break down and go to a sitting position, but never did I ever see Danny Grant. He was always in that upright position, and most people could not have had the leg strength, but he did.
Right, yeah.
And instead of sitting
that
back.
was the one position I never played in baseball, catcher. They tried me one day at practice, and have you ever heard the expression bat blind?
Exactly. That's what I was fixing to say. Hey, if you were bat blind.
I was bat blind. I could. When they swung that bat, I couldn't.
Mike, do you remember the game Troy played in Ozark against some Texas school years ago?
I remember it. I remember it against Delta State was one game. The only game I can remember ever being played in Ozark was against Delta State, and it was the last play of the game. Troy trailed Delta State, and they were on about the 11, 12-yard line. They sent Danny Grant out to the right, and they sent Vince Green out to the left. Tim Bird was the quarterback. He dropped straight back. He's got Danny Grant one-on-one. Now, if you can watch me closely, watch my shoulders. Mm-hmm. This is Danny Grant. He's going head-to-head with a guy, with the cornerback, and he said, and then when he turns, the ball is there for a touchdown. That's how good they were. Mm-hmm. Even now, that was their sophomore year.
Yeah.
That was when they were just starting to be good, their sophomore year.
I wish I could have seen them.
And Delta State had a great player named Jack Gregory on that team. Well, all right, exactly. He ran a punt back for a touchdown. He caught a pass for a touchdown, and maybe two passes for a touchdown. But now he either ran the kickoff back or he ran a punt back, but I want to say it was a punt.
And you know what? They still say that was the biggest crowd they've ever had at Matthews Stadium.
Yeah, it was a huge crowd. You're exactly right. And they played the game. Troy played the game against Delta State, a good program. And like I said, they had Jack Gregory, the all-pro defensive end who later on played many years with Cleveland Browns. But what a night it was in Ozark. And I'll tell you, Troy, after that, starting to play well after they beat, and it was an upset in that game.
Mike, I can remember when Troy used to play in Dothan.
Oh yeah, now see they used to play in Dothan quite a bit. Now I can remember them playing against Abilene Christian. I can remember them playing against Sam Houston State. I can remember them playing against Sanford. I remember them playing against. I can remember them because I was at the game.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Under Coach Bradshaw, his last year.
Maybe more than one game against.
I bet it might have been the last time they played there. My distant cousin was the quarterback, McKinnon, after Willie Tullis.
Yeah.
And they played a game in, was it Rip Hughes Stadium in Dothan?
Yeah.
And won. Pretty good crowd.
Yeah.
And Coach Bradshaw's, I wonder if that was the last time they played in Dothan.
Yeah. You mean McKinnon that played quarterback at Troy was your cousin?
Yeah, distant cousin.
I didn't know. I'll tell you another person that was your cousin was the great Al Head. The great Al Head was probably kin to you, and Al, the Heads.
Through the Hendersons?
Yeah, through the Hendersons. Al Head, quarterback. First game Al Head started as a junior behind Sam Bird, or it might have been a sophomore. He threw 5 touchdowns against Sanford.
Gosh, Mike.
They were good. They lost only one game that year, and for some kind of weird reason, they weren't allowed to play in the championship.
So Al Head's the best quarterback ever to come out of Troy.
Well, no. As good as he was, let me tell you this: the greatest quarterback that I've ever seen. I think Mike is Mike on the line.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah,
Mike was this Austin Ingram. Boy, this Austin Ingram was a great quarterback. Statistically, he was far better than any quarterback we've ever had. Even though Al Head was very, very good, and of course Al could run and throw.
I think Austin Ingram could have played at a Division II program and started for sure. If he
Yeah.
wanted to play, went to Auburn instead.
Went to Auburn, and he's getting married this summer. So
he's already gotten married.
Oh, he's already gotten married.
Yeah,
I missed their wedding. For some reason, I wasn't invited to the wedding. I wonder why. I was a good Austin Ingram fan.
You talked about him enough.
I
I'll
sure
tell you,
have.
Al Head
Put him
is-
on the map, didn't I?
He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and his wife too. And everybody in the state of Alabama government and cities knows Al Head.
Yeah,
He was
he was a
the
sweetie
director
pie.
of the Alabama State Commission on the Arts,
Arts for many years.
and I saw him all the time in Montgomery.
Just recently retired, and he married Judy Mayer, Tom's Toasted Peanuts fame. Arthur Mayer drove a Tom's Toasted Peanut truck, and and I used to ask him for souvenirs all the time. Samples. You got any samples, Mr. Mayer? Boy, I know he heard that a bunch of times.
You know, Al he was a snazzier dresser than you are, Mike.
Well, I know it. Well, let's just see now. Al Head, you say he's snazzing me. Now look here.
I know.
Do you think Al Head's got anything that looks like that?
If you saw Al on a work day,
Let me show you something else about this.
saw a
I'm covering up what everybody wants to see. Well, gosh, where is it? There it is. I'm covering up the bastards.
The only guy that can dress close to Dad is the late John Little. John Little.
Yeah, you're right. And just a little thing that drew Forrest's attention this morning was my watch bands. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 100 watch bands, and I can match up my watch bands any day of the week. And I do when I'm matching watch bands. I'll have.
you see this shirt I got on right here?
Hey, Mike.
I bet. Well, no, I bet I had this shirt 30 years ago when I was just out of college.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, I always come up with stuff off the wall.
I know, and I like to hear them. Yeah.
But you know who is a great friend of Al Head?
Yeah, Tommy Arrington.
No.
Of course.
Think about it.
Well, I know who his best friend is my buddy. No.
Fred Hollis.
Yeah, Fred Hollis. Yeah, Fred Hollis. Well, you're right. Noel and him were very close friends, but his closest friend was Holman Johnson. Manly Johnson was his closest friend. Manly Johnson.
I told my daughter Pinky when she gets settled in Mobile to go down to Fairhope and see Noel, check on him.
In fact, they had an award ceremony this week in Fairhope for Noel. Noel's not doing well right now. He's.
It was last Thursday.
Yeah, that's right.
I was invited to it, and I didn't go. I couldn't go, but I heard it was nice.
Oh, well, hey, it was very nice.
I bet Miss Hawkins was there.
Miss Hawkins was putting it on, and of course, Noel has done a lot for Troy University, and we appreciate him. And listen, let me tell you something. I've been riding around, and Noel without a driver's license, and Daddy Fred. He called him Daddy Fred's old Buick, blue Buick. And I used to go for rides with him, and he didn't even have anything close to a driver's license. He probably was about 14.
His first cousin is Dr. Jerry Hollis.
Yeah. And I remember Jimmy Shirley had a baby blue Mercury that he had painted, and he had a Ooga horn, and he drove all over town without a license, and blowing that Ooga horn. Ooga. You ever heard of Ooga horn?
Mike, how is Noel related to the Trotman?
He and the Trotmans, okay. Randy Brown, of course, parents had Trotman blood in them, and Randy grew up right here in Troy, and Nall was Randy's cousin, and I would think
they are kin somehow. I know that they were good friends.
Yeah. Randy and Nall are first cousins.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
But Bubba Trotman and was kind of somehow kin.
Yeah, I'm kin to Nall through the Trot.
That's right. Yeah. You M.O. Carroll folks are related to each other, aren't you?
Mike, I sat next to Nall when my Aunt Liv died about, 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was a storm like you wouldn't believe. So they had to do the graveside in the church instead of people going out to the grave. And Nall was sitting there with me and said, God ain't very happy about taking her in.
Oh, well, I tell you.
Now, let's take a break.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
Starting April 1st, all your local county and school board meetings will be moving to BBTV, Channel 17. Catch Pike County Commission, Troy City Council, and school board meetings live on Facebook, YouTube, and BBTV, brought to you by Troy Cable.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Starting April 1st, all your local county and school board meetings will be moving to BBTV, Channel 17. Catch Pike County Commission, Troy City Council, and school board meetings live on Facebook, YouTube, and BBTV, brought to you by Troy Cable.
Say that. Adios, amigos, my darling. Oh, lo, 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 lo.
Can't see
How about my new hat, ladies and gentlemen, for television? And hey, I tell you, this and this right here go hand in hand. We don't say enough about this guy like we should have, but War Eagle, the Auburn Tigers against the Akron Zips this next fall on NBC television. It's Auburn and the Zips of Akron in first-class football from Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Look who's on the air with Michael.
Yeah, look at there. Is that Millie? Look, that's my little granddaughter Millie. And that's Mary Prater. Look at, they're both on there. Look at those cute little girls.
They're adorable.
They must be my little grandchildren. Is that right? Hey, Millie.
Mike.
Yeah.
I met the Auburn coach a couple of weeks ago.
How did you like him?
I got to tell you about it. Just ask me about it.
Well, go ahead and tell us. Can you tell it on there?
I'll tell it on there.
Well, it's not ugly, is it?
No.
All right, go ahead and tell us.
Well, I went up there a a Vandy golf coach and our friends, and Vandy was playing in Auburn's golf tournament. And anyway, I was out there, and this guy just standing there all by himself. And I looked over, and I said, God, that's Brian Harson. So I walked over and I told him, I said, you know what, I bet I'm the only one out here that knows who you are. And I'm an Alabama fan. He laughed.
He's a nice guy. I met him. I mean, I've heard him. You know, when Troy played him both times. I mean, class. I mean, he was just a class operator. And Will, we were talking about Andy Murphy and what a great domino player Andy Murphy is, and
we just somebody dropped off. I might have
very nice person, and people that. One of the oldest families in Troy, Alabama, and you are related to them? Are you related to the Murphys? Say, Will.
I don't think so. No, I don't think I'm related.
Of course, your uncle was uncle, or was he your cousin?
Uncle Bubba and Aunt Liv.
Bubba Trotman probably knew more people in the state of Alabama than any other person.
And he was a class man and class operator. And Bubba Trotman, I was always proud to say Bubba Trotman was from Troy.
Again. Hold. Let's
you know, it was a big difference in the mayor of Montgomery and Bubba Trotman. You know, Bubba Trotman was a real active person with his family and friends, and then the mayor of Montgomery was also very well known. What's his? Yeah, who?
Emery Farmer.
Emery Farmer, yeah.
But Bubba Trotman, he just. I know he knew everybody in Montgomery and always super gracious and remembered you. But then he knew everybody.
He was a gracious host.
He was the former national president of the American Cattlemen's Association, and then he was a leader in the Alabama Cattlemen's Association forever.
Oh, yeah. And man, I tell you what, had a lot of friends.
His son Charlie became the quarterback at Auburn,
and he's also a fine young man.
He's really still on the radio today.
He's really good on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was a great.
They have a pond right outside of Troy that they come down. The family comes down and fishes and all that. And a lot of people don't know where it is, but a friend of mine sort of helps keep it up for them.
You know, talk about Andy. He's got one of the great math minds I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, you could give him some huge figures to add or multiply, and he'll pop out the answer just like that.
What makes him such a good domino player, Will?
Well,
and you played with him in some big tournaments, haven't you?
Yeah, he knows how to play, and he's a very good partner player.
And of course, he can sort of pretty much tell you what you got in your hand and without looking at him.
Hey, I play a lot of gin with my wife, and I'm sure you played it too. What game is more luck or takes more skill, gin or dominoes?
I think dominoes.
What are you calculating when you're playing dominoes? You know what your opponent has, or
you got to try to do two things. You try to get rid of the big dominoes in your hand, and then you're trying to score as much as you can during.
Yeah.
You're not trying to block the game?
No, usually a block doesn't help because they add up the points, and whoever has the least number of points wins the block.
Yeah.
You know, the more I play gin with my wife, who's gotten so dang good, she beats me half the time. Is the more I realize that the good players are much higher than I am. I mean, they know what the other opponent has. They know what cards are left. You know, they know when to discard and not, when to. I love the game of gin rummy.
Yeah. I would like to learn how to play gin. A friend of mine over in Georgia, he plays gin every afternoon at his club. And I said, do you play for money? He said, oh, we would play if we didn't have money. You know, they play for money. Gin for money. Have you ever played gin for money, Will?
Yeah, we used to play at the beach.
Yeah, that's a good place to play. My parents and I used to play a lot at the beach.
And, of course, the cleanest game out there has gotten to be what game of cards? that a
Well,
lot of
poker's
people.
hugely popular.
What?
The cleanest game is go fish.
Let's go fish. And what
Battle.
else? And what
Solitaire.
else?
War.
War.
Well, not not on regular cards.
You know, I learned how to play.
Another clean game is Uno.
Yeah, but y'all, you hadn't hit it yet.
Solitaire.
No, it's done with cards. They got their own. They got their own cards.
52 pickups.
Hearts.
Rook. That's the cleanest game of all is Rook. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:00, and this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. And let me tell you, out of all the sales going on right now, you can do more with cash money at Premier than at any time of the year. And let me tell you, it's a huge sale going on right now at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. Also to mention our great friends out at Troy Regional Medical Center. You're working on a project right now.
Got to write it this morning.
And tell us about Troy Regional Medical Center.
Well, they've got 320 full and part-time employees. Their economic benefit on the community is $42 million. They've tested 18,000 people for COVID. They've got all these great new doctors and nurses. They've got a new wound care program they're proud of. Infusion programs where they can do cancer treatments, radiation and chemotherapy treatments, so you don't have to go to Dothan
that is
and
fantastic.
Montgomery. A lot of exciting things going on at our hospital. So read my story when it comes out in the Messenger.
I like the attachment of the Lifeline helicopter there. That
exactly.
service there. That
I was talking
them.
to my good friend recently, and we were talking about he was transferred, to the hospital in Pensacola.
Yeah, Raymond Ledford.
Raymond Ledford, and Raymond, my good friend, just roared. He said, "I never ridden in a helicopter before." And now I'm getting to, and then they told him to lay back down.
Well, they say
He said, "Okay." Raymond gave him fits, man. He said, "Look, I want to look out the window,"
Rick Smith told me that driving to Dothan or Montgomery would be 50 minutes the fastest, maybe an hour, and it's 20 minutes on that helicopter, and those difference in 40 minutes might be life or death in some situation.
Exactly. And I tell you what, Rick Smith, you talk about hiring a winner. Rick Smith is a winner. The new CEO at
he came
Troy
from
Regional
Orlando,
Medical.
a group that operated 14 hospitals out of Orlando, so he knows, how
Just
the
an
business.
outstanding leader. And of course, Cheryl Crow, my idol, my childhood idol, is the
chairman of the
chairman
Troy,
and
I think it's
CEO
called the Troy Health
right.
Authority Board.
Jimmy Lunsford's on that board too, my good friend. And of course, great people that run that hospital.
I'm gonna beg my leave. I need to head toward
Oh,
Brundage.
well, a minute. You give us your report.
All right, let's see here, Mike. Real quick.
We got to hear the report of what went on this past weekend.
Here's what's coming up. Troy baseball plays at South Alabama this weekend, Thursday at 6:30, Friday and Saturday. I guess so they'll be off for Easter egg hunts on Sunday. Troy's 13-10 overall with a 2-1 conference record. The Lady Trojans will play UAB tomorrow.
Where will that be played, in Birmingham?
In Birmingham, 6 o'clock pitch. The Lady Trojans are 22-6 overall, 6-0 in the conference, and they will host Georgia Southern this Friday and at 5 o'clock. And Saturday there will be a doubleheader starting at 12 noon. So they will not be playing on Sunday either.
Okay.
Of course, high school baseball. Charles Henderson will host Greenville on Thursday at 7 o'clock in an area game. And the Lady Trojans.
Charles Henderson's record? What is Charles Henderson's record?
I'm not real sure because I can't pull it up online. It's sub 500, but they're now getting to area play is what counts, I guess you'd say. The Lady Trojans will play in a doubleheader in Greenville this Friday. Check that. The boys will. Pike Liberal Arts baseball will play Success Academy today in Montgomery. And another note, I saw where Ayrton defeated Brantley 14-1.
And these are boys. This is boys baseball.
Right.
Jay Cook had 3 hits.
Landon Thrash had 3 hits. You know, his parents are Dana Adams and David Thrash.
Yeah, okay.
And he also pitches. In softball, Charles Simpson is at Carroll High School tomorrow at 4:30, and Pike Lib will host Morgan today at 4 o'clock.
They're playing that out at Pike Liberal Arts. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
So it's.
I think the Lady Patriots are number 1 in the
They
state.
are.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, their athletic programs really had a great year.
And
I need to go buy some firewood. The low Wednesday's gonna be 39, Thursday 34, Friday 36, and Saturday 39.
Oh boy, cold weather.
Cool.
That means I can go into the bushes and hunt for snakes. Is that right?
I tell you what, that snake in your top driveway was pretty creepy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was.
A 7-foot rat snake.
In a tree. How high up was he?
And he was up high. He was up about 12 feet or more, you know.
right, and again in basketball, Gonzaga plays Southern Cal tonight. In men's, and Michigan plays UCLA. And in women, Texas plays South Carolina, and Louisville plays Stanford.
Mike, Houston was up over Oregon State 67 to 59 or 50. I want to say 59.
They were up on 17 and a half. And,
but a kid a kid just happened to throw one up at the buzzer and it went in.
No, that won me $10.
And the bookies lost all the money, you know.
I won $10. I put $10 on just about every game.
Yeah, that was.
No, I don't. Just
that was, and he didn't even have to shoot it, and he did. It hit it right there with about 3 seconds left.
That's like giant trees when they were trying to score Houston. They couldn't get over that defense.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that, a 3-1-1?
This Houston would really get, and of course they're coached by a coach that has won over 1,000 games. And buddy, if you won over 1,000 games, you have been there that very few people have done. You know?
He's a Native American from North Carolina. There's a tribe.
Samson is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oklahoma has a lot of those.
Yeah, he's from North Carolina though.
Yeah, okay.
Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah, he's a great coach. He's one of I would say the top 10 coaches ever, probably. Wouldn't you think?
You know, he's real close with Wimp and Sonny. He used to come on Wimp and Sonny's show about every couple of weeks.
Oh, did he? Uh-huh. All right, continue on.
That's all I have. I was going to look up his nationality.
The big sport event I went out, let's watch the Final Four and the final game and see if Gonzaga can go all the way. And then, but next week is the Masters, everybody. Boy, that always gets me excited.
Exactly, and
I bet the azaleas are in full bloom right now. You know, there is some climate change because it used to be the azaleas were in bloom when they played the tournament, but now it's always they've already finished their blooms by the time.
I tell you what, I hate to brag, but I've probably got the prettiest azaleas in Troy. I have huge azaleas at my house, and they wish they had at the Masters.
Yeah. Hey, get back to Coach Sampson. He's from the Lumbee Indian community in Robeson County, North Carolina.
Okay.
That's an Indian.
And he became a great basketball coach. Auburn is now 0-6 in SEC play, Mike. That is off to one of the worst starts in their baseball ever, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, you got Gabe Gross is coach on that team, and Tim Hudson. They got great coaches.
Yeah, exactly. And the pitching coach too. Yeah. I tell you what, I bet they can't can't wait till they get Pike Liberal Arts' star pitcher.
I bet he'll go pro.
Yeah, Nelson with that change up. And with that pickoff move to first base, I've watched baseball all my life and been around it all my life and played it and whatever. I've never seen a kid throw to first base to pick off a batter or runner than this kid. He is really something.
You say he's left-handed?
Yes, he's left-handed. And buddy, you don't get off a yard. I'm telling you, you don't get off a yard.
Gets drafted, Coach White's son, Mays gets drafted, and Nelson gets drafted, and one of them's committed to Florida State, one of them's committed to Auburn. Nelson's got 2 more years left.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else, too. There's a center fielder for the Charles Henderson team, Lee.
Darrell Lee
is really a good player. You know this kid?
I never taught Darrell, but I think he's a lefty.
Yeah, he bats left-handed.
He may throw right-handed.
But buddy, he's good. He's really good.
I still say,
there's 2 great golfers. Charles Henderson has a 9th grader, Braden Presswood.
Oh, yeah.
Who shoots in the 70s, and Jackson Cleveland, who's a sophomore at Pike Liberal Arts. He's a lefty, and
he's good.
They're both great golfers, and I think I don't know what their schedule is, but I think Pike Liberal Arts may have a golf tournament today.
Yeah. I tell you what, in golf, it came down to one of my favorite players, Billy Horschel and Scotty Scheffler, for the championship, and Horschel beat him 2-1. But what a great game of golf! Everybody was just raving over Schwartzel, Mike, and how good a golfer he is, and how good he's going to be.
He's on Scheffler?
Yeah, Scheffler, Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, he played in Texas, so he had a lot of people rooting for him in Austin. That match play is fun to watch. I was flipping back and forth. It's kind of funny how these guys go about conceding holes. Of course, there was controversy earlier in the week with Kevin Na and Dustin Johnson, as far as, he missed a short putt and he was 6 inches away, and apparently Johnson, just grabbed the ball, and Na didn't, I guess, give his blessing that it was a gimme. So that was kind of interesting. But this week, I think they're playing in the Texas Open, getting ready for the Masters. So I don't know if many big names will play at all this week.
Yeah. A lot of people go over there practicing.
Mention something that Steve told us before the show. NASCAR had a race at Bristol that was on a dirt track. They trucked in 2,300 truckloads of red Tennessee clay and raced on dirt for the first time in 50 years in a NASCAR race. Also said they had a reduced capacity sellout crowd of about 30,000 fans, which is most fans I've heard of at any sporting event.
Who won it?
Joey
Logano won it.
Boy, he is good.
They're going to have another one this year, I think, Steve said.
He is good, and Logano won it, and Stenhouse was second. I believe that's what happened.
They used to race, all these old-time NASCAR racers grew up on dirt tracks, didn't they?
I used to go to the Montgomery tracks a lot when I was growing up, and I'm talking about little child almost, yeah. In Montgomery, out at they've got a racetrack in Montgomery now, and they had a driver named Sonny Black. Any of you old timers can remember Sonny Black. He was my favorite driver, and
your dad must have been into it.
Yeah,
too.
he liked it. But my older brother Bill, he was really into it. He loved to drive himself a little bit, and but. That was back when and then Red Farmer was racing back then too, on dirt tracks, You
would see him there?
Oh yeah. But I was probably 6, 7 years old at the most,
Yeah, Red Farmer's still living. His house got hit by the tornadoes.
Did he? Red Farmer's still living. Isn't that unreal? His house in Birmingham or where?
Yeah, outside of Birmingham. I think he's 91.
Yeah. All right, Mike, Gonzaga's a 9-point favorite over USC tonight, and Michigan's a 7-point favorite over UCLA. what's going to happen. I was impressed with Michigan and
Michigan looked really good. I think it's still going to be Gonzaga's tournament to win, just like everybody's been saying the whole time. I don't think UCLA will have enough to win tonight. I think they've got to be about done.
Yeah,
they played so hard against Alabama. I was really impressed with UCLA though athletically. They were a lot.
Let me see that paper. Have you got it?
Alabama would be able to kind of shut them down defensively, but Alabama really couldn't.
Yeah. Alabama threw the ball away. Alabama did not play well at all. I mean, really didn't at all.
Yeah, UCLA made so many clutch shots. John Petty really was guarding. I can't remember his name. It was Valdez, the guy that kept on making all the tough shots. But I just feel like at the end of the day, UCLA was just kind of tougher, in my opinion, which I didn't think was going to be possible against Alabama.
No, I did notice. I looked at their schedule and results before the game, and I saw that they played a lot of overtime games, and they typically won.
Five overtime.
And they typically won the overtime games, so that shows they're tough.
I've got to
Nayo
Okay.
is a guy.
Thank you, man.
Somebody was telling me that they think he's really similar to Bruce Pearl as far as his coaching. He's real fiery and the kind of like his same philosophy. So, they're saying that Pearl might be a candidate for the Texas job and some of these other jobs, but
he's not going anywhere.
Really good robbery for the coming years. If Pearl stays at Auburn, Oak stays at Alabama.
It'd be good for state basketball. Yeah, it would.
Who'd you say looked a lot like Pearl?
Well, they compare Oak and Pearl.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got you. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Hello, Miss Mary. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here. Because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here. Thank you.
Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa know-how. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa know-how team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Back to our show, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks, and they've got a sale, believe you me, and already they tell you every day that nobody beats a Premier deal. Well, nobody beats a Premier deal at one of the greatest sales in their market this year, and we appreciate them so much being a part of our show. Also, our friends at First National Bank of Luverne, and we appreciate them. And also, I want to mention our good friends
is it First Citizens Bank of Luverne?
Well, the First Citizens Bank of Luverne, and also I want to mention that our good friends that which we talk about every day is that Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need, and we appreciate them so very much.
Yeah, I think Jason Gregory and his wife are celebrating their 18th wedding anniversary. So
Oh, yay, happy anniversary.
Is that today?
Yeah, I saw that last night on
18th wedding anniversary, and she is a real sweetheart.
My
too.
wife and I just celebrated our 10th.
And of course,
congratulations.
Jason knows that he outkicked his coverage in a big way. We're having fun, laid back television.
Let's say I am.
Best.
We're really into this Mad Men episode, and you all seem to be experts on it. One thing that impresses me about that TV show is how they get all the period pieces just right. It's set like 1961 to 63. You remember those years?
Oh, yeah, so very much.
But the kitchen details, the cars, the clothes.
That's right.
Everything.
I'll tell you what.
The ad campaigns, the TV shows that were running then.
This is where they ought to go back. They were so neat. It was women with tight skirts.
Yeah, you're right.
And the tight skirts and the jacket, and they were sharp looking.
Yeah.
And women today need to look like that.
The men's haircuts don't look any different than what they've been for much of the last couple of decades in the business community.
Yeah.
The men's clothes don't look that. You could wear them today. You know.
And you know what? They smoke so much in this show, it almost made me sick. Now, of course, I used to be a smoker years ago, but I've been through since 1988, and I quit. Never looked at one again. But it makes you almost sick. They smoke so much.
And they drank so much. But this was.
And they're drinking in the morning. Oh, you're right. They're drinking whiskey in the early morning.
In their office, drinking, and then they go to lunch, and then they just take off for the afternoon.
And you, of course, I reckon...
Yeah, the actor that plays Don Draper is John Hamm, and that's got to be one of the better acting jobs. I don't know how many awards he probably won. And then the girl that's the graphic designer is a great actress, too.
The girl that went from secretary to... seems to be on her way to being a superstar in the agency, Peggy.
Yeah, she's got red hair.
Yeah.
And
the redhead is a good actress as well.
Yeah.
That's the assistant. She becomes a partner later too.
She's sharp.
Don't tell him about how it all turns out, Mike.
Yeah.
He needs to see it.
But I will say this: just you can find a few redeeming qualities in these characters, but it's probably easier to find qualities you don't like.
Yeah.
Or
well, the two, it just stunned me again that Arrington beat Brantley 14-1. What happened to you, Brantley, unless this was junior high? Jay Cook had 5 hits and 3 RBIs, and Landon Thrash had 3 hits and 3 RBIs for Arrington. Connor Thrash collected 3 hits. Jackson Baker, Paxton each had an RBI. Yeah, you're right. They do have a good baseball coach.
I think Coach Valdez is still down there. He's been there for several years.
They beat Charles Henderson. Both of them have beat Charles Henderson.
That's right. Sure have. So that was
big.
big.
Interesting to have Brian Meadows on the show. Brian's helping coach Charles Henderson. I need to try to get up with Brian and see if we can get him on.
Yeah, I'd like to
talk about the upcoming baseball season in major leagues and find out how he's enjoying coaching. I'd like to hear from him. I might send him a text today.
I saw his wife the other day, and I said, "Do you ever see your husband much?" She said, "No," especially since he's been coaching baseball, and I'm sure he's enjoying it.
How many times do you think of Brian in his life had to put on a major league or just a baseball uniform?
And let me tell you, and Rice, you appreciate this too. Stirrups, I've always, we wore stirrups, but we didn't wear them cut high and everything. But, just to get your stirrups, and those stirrups go all the way up their thigh, it's
they still wear those?
It's a part of the uniform.
Yeah.
But
only guy in Florida that probably wore a baseball uniform more than Brian is Mark Smart.
Yeah. I tell you something the major leagues won't do. They won't tolerate. They won't tolerate having your shirt out of your pants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they will not tolerate it.
Yeah, good.
You can't go out there without a hat on.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Yankees won't let you have facial hair.
Yeah.
The Yankees won't let you have your facial hair. Now, something else too. Now, I wish I had a hat up here to show you. I don't like these square bills that they have now. I like to break them a little bit.
I don't like that either.
But you see kids, you see a lot of kids with these square emblems, on whatever.
I remember when a big deal, you had to break your hat end and then put it in glass sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And curve it, and you got a hat and it fit your head just right. You would keep it for forever if you could.
And something else that's different about the hats that you see kids wear now than the major leaguers. The major leaguers are made out of wool.
Mm-hmm.
Their hats, to my knowledge, are made out of the wool. Mike, is that true?
Yeah, I used to have at least 10 major league caps growing up.
And all of them were wool hats too, weren't they?
The real deal.
Yeah, they're all fitted too.
Yeah.
Well, who were your favorite? Who do you think had the best looking hat, or still does?
The Blue Jays had a really good looking cap. I used to wear it a lot. Orioles have a good looking cap. I used to have a Cleveland Indians cap. I guess that's no more.
They had a double bill. Had a red bill with a dark top, and then they had the
Cleveland Indians aren't the Indians anymore.
Yeah, they're still the Indians.
No, they had to get rid of their name.
No way. The Cleveland Indians didn't have to get rid of their name, did they?
Yeah, they had to get rid of their name.
That is crazy.
I know the Redskins did. The Washington Redskins.
And for long, they'll come up for a reason to have the Yankees going to change the Yankees head. Hey, he's a Yankee. He's a Yankee.
The Braves is definitely a possibility one day.
Yeah.
Too far. They're going too far with it, in my Bill Rice Jr.'s opinion. I think the Yankees had the best looking hat, and I always had the Yankees hat.
Yeah.
Mike, you'd have the best time at the beach right now if you were outside with all these people walking by. You'd want to know where all these people
I'd want to know where all of them are from, and I'd want to shake their hands. I want to look at them. Let me just tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Shake a man's hand and look at him straight in the eyes. And if he's got a strong grip on your hand and he's got a strong look in your eyes, he might be okay.
I'll tell you what, the whole thing with people not shaking hands anymore is totally not going to happen.
You're right.
Everywhere I go, somebody shakes my hand.
Oh, do they really? But Mike, go ahead and all right. All you got to do instead of shake his hand is just go ahead and grip your fist and just bing right there, and you got it.
I guess I could.
Look here.
I feel like in the South, that's just going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
Too many people try to shake hands.
Hey, Carroll High of Ozark had Will Jones had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Judson Patterson had 2 hits and an RBI. And Evan Peters had 2 hits and 3 RBIs. Patterson got the win. Carroll High beat Daleville. I want to say it was a pretty good Daleville team, 17-0.
It happens. I mean, you get blown out.
That's right. In baseball.
Alabama. We went to the Alabama-Troy game, and Troy got beat, 9-1.
Yeah, that's right.
But that happens in baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
You come back the next game and beat them.
I hope Troy and Alabama will redo their schedule and come back here, but I don't know if they will or not. Why would you? I don't know if I'd do it. Why would you?
I would, to save money and build rivalries and help the sport in the state. Yeah.
Yeah, but something I've noticed about them, they still bring 2 Trailways buses. Alabama, Central Florida had 2 this weekend, the other day. I mean, they're bringing 2.
Probably because of COVID.
Yeah.
Well, so they can stretch out. You're right. And COVID, they're on 2 buses, 2 Trailways buses.
That's another expense for athletic department. Yeah, they have to get more buses to keep the players distanced in the bus. So that's another expense.
I'll tell you another team that is really good right now is the Bobcats. They beat Houston Academy 5-0. The Bobcats are tough right now. GW Long beat Zion Chapel 12-0 over the weekend. So a lot of good baseball going on, and of course Charles Henderson in softball plays at Carroll at 6 o'clock tonight.
Let's watch Michael and see if he keeps that beard off, and if he doesn't, how many days it takes him to have a full beard again.
And people
probably about 8 days.
Yeah. Then people ask me, why are you always looking up so much, Mike? It's where the camera's situated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to be on camera for an hour and a half.
Moving your head
around. I had the girls on camera during the time I was off the phone. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I did.
Y'all could be making an extra $500,000 a year if you just made those girls children models, because they're about as pretty as any girls I've seen anywhere.
Abby,
I was a model growing up in high school, so that makes
yeah. Crenshaw Christian's got a doubleheader today, starting at 4:00. So that'd be, and then G.W. Long plays Providence Christian at home at 5, and Headland plays Andalusia at 4:30.
You know, I just realized who your daughters look like a little bit. You know, I'm a movie buff, and I always say that everybody looks like somebody else. If you've seen the movie Kill Bill Volume 2, Beatrice Kiddo, the main character, she has a little daughter that she reunites with at the very end of the movie, and that little daughter resembles your children.
See Perry Green.
Uma Thurman?
Yeah, she has a daughter in the second one. You watch that movie? Yeah, very, very pretty. And
yeah, my wife had curly hair her whole life, and my oldest, Mary Prayer's got curly hair.
Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you watching our show today, and hope that you'll be with us tomorrow. We got Johnny Williams coming in here by phone tomorrow. Johnny Williams, the great one, coming in here. We're looking forward to having him tomorrow. Have a great day. See you.